Hey folks, it's Carrie from Pretty Neat. Thanks for joining me. If you're new here to my channel, welcome. I share videos here every week about organizing and decluttering your home and just making your space the best it can be. So I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and stick around. So a new year has started, and I know that in the new year, a lot of people get excited about organizing and decluttering. But one thing about New Year's resolutions that we all know is that we make them early in the year, and then as time goes on, we kind of lose steam or we forget about them completely. So today I want to present some easy ways that you can think about organizing and decluttering. They're going to make the process a little bit more automatic for you, and it will hopefully help you keep that motivation as the year goes on. So my first easy tip for decluttering your home is to keep a permanent donation box somewhere in your house. And the idea here is that when you come across things that you know you're not using, just toss them in that box. Have a spot to put those things. And then once that box gets filled up, just take it to your car and drop it off at the donation center. So I personally keep a donation box or bag in one of my closets, and I really do find that just having a place to put those things helps to keep that mindset of always trying to pare down. I think that oftentimes we come across those things in our home that we know we're not using or they're not serving us, but we just don't bother to do anything about it because they've been sitting there for a while and it's just easier to not address it. But when you have a specific place for those unused items, it will help to keep you honest about it. The next time you open that junk drawer and there are those things rolling around that you don't even recognize, or you find that cable for a phone charger that you haven't owned in several years, instead of just ignoring it, take it and put it in the donation box. And this will just help you get into that habit of always evaluating your things and getting rid of the stuff that no longer is adding value to your life. Another easy tip for decluttering that I have is to do something called the 1 in, 2 out rule. So this is just a guideline that you can use when you're shopping or when you're bringing things home. When you bring something new into your home, challenge yourself to then get rid of 2 similar items. So an example of this might be you buy a new pair of shoes, you bring them home, you now have to get rid of 2 pairs of shoes. Now that might be very painful for some people. I know I like my shoes, but I have pared my collection way down using this rule. So the idea of 1 in, 2 out is that if you follow it, you will slowly start to decrease the amount of things in your home. Every time you bring 1 new thing in, you're getting rid of 2 old things. This isn't going to make a huge impact right away, but if you follow it over time, it will start to reduce the volume of stuff that you own. The other thing that I really like about using this rule is that it keeps you a little bit more honest on the front end. So if I'm doing this rule with my shoes, and I know when I'm out shopping that if I bring a new pair of shoes home, I need to get rid of 2 pair, that's really going to make me evaluate that new purchase. I'm going to take a minute and think, well, wait a second, I like all of my shoes that are at home. Do I really like this new pair better than the things that I already have? And if the answer is no, I'm going to leave it on the shelf because I don't want to have to get rid of the things that I already have at home. So give the 1 in, 2 out rule a try if you're trying to declutter. If your house is in good shape, I think doing 1 in, 1 out is also just a good general life rule that it keeps you from constantly accumulating more and more things, and it makes sure that as you're bringing new things in, you're also getting rid of something. Another rule that I like to advise on decluttering actually comes from The Minimalists, and I've done a review about their newest documentary. I'll link to that down below. They came up with this idea called the 20-20 rule. And the basic premise is that if you're thinking about getting rid of something and you're having a hard time deciding, ask yourself this: does it cost less than $20? And can I access this item again in less than 20 minutes? So the numbers 2020 are not so important, but the idea is that if it's an item that's relatively inexpensive and also easy to replace, just get rid of it. If you're already questioning whether you need something, the answer is probably that you don't. So I say just go ahead and donate it, and then know that if you do need it sometime in the future, if that someday ever comes that you do need that item, you can access it again easily and for not a lot of money. And I have done this myself, especially with things like kitchen items, like a springform pan. Okay, I owned a springform pan for many, many years. I hadn't made a cheesecake in probably 5 years, but I had hung on to that pan just in case I needed it. And I finally just said to myself, well, how much would it cost to replace this if I got rid of it? And I looked it up online and it was very inexpensive. So in a case like that, I just parted with the item. I don't have a springform pan anymore. I have not needed it, but I don't sweat it because I know if I really needed it again, if I had some real desire to make a cheesecake again, I could just get a new pan. Another easy tip I have for decluttering and organizing is to set limits with your storage space. So allowing your storage space to dictate how much stuff you can keep will really help to keep you honest and will keep you from accumulating more than you have space for. So this works well with specific items, things like books on a bookshelf. If you have decided certain shelves in your home are going to be devoted to books, allow those bookshelves to be the maximum area where books can be stored. And once those shelves are full, if you get any new books, you now need to clear off some space to add them. Again, it just gives you a limit and it prevents you from just constantly accumulating and never then getting rid of things. This also can work well in your closet, and I have done this. A few years ago, I bought a set of those velvety hangers, and I believe the box came with 40 hangers. I just said to myself, now these 40 hangers, this is how many things I can hang in this closet. They fit really nicely. There's a little extra room so things aren't packed in there. And now when I get new clothes, in order to hang them up, it means I have to clear space on a hanger. I have to get rid of an item of clothing. And it just, again, prevents me from constantly accumulating without ever purging. Another tip I have for an easy way to declutter your home is to give yourself a deadline. So the idea here is that if you haven't used an item within a certain period of time, you have proven to yourself that you don't really need it and you can part with it. Now, it can be difficult for us to know how often we're using certain things because we don't necessarily remember every time we use something. So there are ways to give yourself a clue that you haven't used it in a while. So one idea is to go through your closet and to turn all of the hangers the wrong way on the bar. And then when you actually wear something, you put it back on the hanger and put the hanger in the closet going the correct direction. You can go through your whole closet, switch all the hangers around, and then put a date in your calendar, maybe 6 months from the time that you switched all the hangers. And when that date rolls around, take a look at your closet and see how many hangers have found their way back to the correct position. You will probably be shocked and amazed that you only wear a few things in your closet and you just wear them on repeat. And so those things that haven't been touched in 6 months, those are some good candidates for the donation pile. Another easy way to give yourself a deadline is you can do this with your kitchen gadgets. So take all of those gadgets out of the drawers in your kitchen and put them in a box. Leave the box in the kitchen or somewhere nearby. And then every time you need a gadget, pull it out, and put it back in the drawer when you're done. Again, you might want to put a date on the box, maybe 6 months from now. And when that date rolls around, see what's still left in the box. Whatever is in there has not been touched in 6 months, and you can probably get rid of it. My final easy tip for decluttering and organizing your home is to purge your things at the end of the season. So there are certain periods of time, especially if you live in a place like I do, where there are very distinct seasons. There are certain times of the year when we need to swap out clothing or decorations or maybe outdoor furniture. When you're putting away last season's stuff, take a look at the collection of things. So if you're talking about, say, holiday decorations, when you're putting those away at the end of the holiday season, take a look at the decorations that you did not use this year and ask yourself, if I didn't put these up this year, what's the likelihood I'm going to use them next year or really ever again? And the answer is, it's probably very unlikely. Take a few minutes when you're putting those seasonal items away to look at the things that didn't get used and to get rid of some of those items. This is also a great idea to use in your closet and your drawers when you're switching out your wardrobe for the season. When you're putting away those summer things and taking out the winter stuff, take a look at the summer items that didn't get worn all summer. If they didn't get worn last summer, they're probably not going to get worn next summer either. I hope these tips for easy ways to organize and declutter were helpful. If they were, please hit the like button. It really helps other people see content from my channel. And don't forget to subscribe. I share new videos here every week about organizing and decluttering your home and just making your space the best it can be. Talk to you soon.